Hi, and welcome to class. Today we're going to use the foam roller, and I'm really excited to share with you all kinds of fun ways to use the foam roller in a home workout. There's things that will challenge you, things that will soothe you, and it's just a really great tool, so I hope you enjoy. So we're going to start by kneeling and bring the roller around to the back of the body. So I have it positioned quite low down by my tail so that I have lots of room to move, and then I have my arms drawn in towards my side so they're pretty parallel. And then I'm going to bend the elbows. My palms are facing forward, and this is going to help us stretch the front of the shoulders. So you're going to allow the shoulders to be drawn back, encourage them even, and feel like your elbows are drawing together. And this is just going to help us to stretch, as I said, the front of the shoulders and the chest. And then also, as you engage into the roller, you might find that you can press into the roller and feel some energy, some activation in the arms, including the biceps and the triceps, and this is going to really help to, with that heat, help to move energy around in the shoulders, release tension, and invite stretch and strength all at once. So these are really good things that we are happy to be invoking. And then we're going to just finish there, bring the roller back to the front of the body, and then I'm going to turn so you can see. We're going to step the left foot forward to begin. So when you have the left foot forward, the left hip can hike, so we'll drop it down. And you're using the roller just for a little bit of a balance support, so you can position it anywhere that serves you. And then we're lifting up on the front of the right hip. And then we're just simply going to lunge forward, rock forward, and rock back. Starting out pretty mild, but in a really yummy way, opening up this right hip. And then we'll bring ourselves back. I'm going to switch hands, so the left hand can be on the roller, right arm down by the side, so we can lift up through that right side and side bend over. And then bring it back to the start. So that's side one. We'll step back with the left foot, move the roller to the left, and step the right foot forward. Drop the right sit bone down, and then begin again with that sense of down on the right, lift up on the left, and then rock forward. Moving your pelvis forward in space, guiding your hips forward and back to lengthen the muscles in the front, and then letting it all come back. Okay, then switching hands, the left arm comes up to the sky and we side bend, now creating length from the knee all the way up to the fingertips on that left side. And you're creating this stretch that helps to highlight how it's all connected. Your hip, your waist, your shoulder, it's all connected. So a disturbance in the force down low can, really wreak havoc and travel up the chain to the shoulders. So we're treating it all today. Now we're going to put the roller across the mat and set it up so that it is right underneath our shoulders, elbows on the roller, forearms level with the floor. And then we're going to do sternum drops, letting the chest sink and rise, rib cage sink and rise. And as the rib cage rises up, see if you can feel the elbows really engage downward into the earth, into the roller. We're working and warming our serratus muscles, the muscles that really magically help create really beautiful, easy function in the shoulders. So next time you're up, hold there, keep the lift, and then add an element of movement so you can engage your serratus not just in stability, not just in this sort of frozen position, but in action. So this is just a good reminder of that and feel good warm up for those muscles. And then you'll just continue the roller out in front of you. You can walk your elbows forward and let your heart sink down towards the mat. And then exhale, round, back up, and then reach it out and away. And we'll do that several times, just enjoying some yummy movement in the spine. Now, you are rolling roughly from your elbows to your fingertips. You pause whenever you run out of room, and you pause before you roll over your elbows. And you can do that again. And then also note that if your hips are moving back, there's a version of stretch that's really nice there. It's very friendly. And if your hips can stay forward, you're going to invite a little bit more challenge to your core and to your shoulder stabilizers and mobilizing elements as well. So just play with that. Maybe hips forward, you want the challenge. Maybe hips back. You're really needing that little bit of ease in your lower waist at this moment, and that's what's good for you. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves all the way up and then arrive upright and move into supine on the roller. So what that means is we're going to set it up lengthwise on the mat, and then we're going to come to a seated position right at the very front edge of it. And then we're going to make our way down so that our entire spine, from our head to our tail, is supported. All right, so you'll get your feet into position parallel. They can be narrow or wide. The narrower they are, the more sort of wobbly and challenging your position will be, and wider is a little more stable. And then you can bring your attention to your pelvis. You've got two halves to your body, and you want equal distribution over the roller. And to find that, you can just kind of rock side to side. And then as you find your way from these sort of deviated positions, you'll be able to find the center more easily. So the roller should live right at the center of your two halves of your pelvis, right at the center of your spine. The two halves of your rib cage are also quite distinct. And then the center of your skull. Feeling the weight of your two halves, your rib cage has two sort of hemispheres, and your pelvis does as well. Letting them just kind of drape over the roller, your shoulders, and then find the center of your skull. Oftentimes, without being conscious of it, our head likes to be a little bit tilted or turned to one side, and you can perceive that a little more clearly here on the roller. And then we're simply going to do some big angels in the snow, letting the arms circle the body, just allowing them to be heavy and just open up through the front of the chest. Any range of motion that feels safe and good in your body is welcome. We are mobilizing here and stretching. So see if you can really allow the chest to open here. And then when you're coming back from the top position, add a bend to the elbows. So you'll be making your way back to your waist with this moment in goalpost arms, and then all the way back to your sides. And then straight arms go overhead, and then bend the elbows on the return. Good. And again, big circle up to the sky, and bend the elbows. Now, as you get to the sides of your body this time, elbows are bent at about 90 degrees. You're going to let the arms pause there, and then bring them together in front of your chest. Elbows and palms connect. If your elbows don't touch, that's okay, but you're pressing inwards and then opening outwards, letting your arms stretch wide again. Use those very muscles, pull together, and then open. Expand as wide as you're able. And again, pull together and wide expansion. One more time, pulling together, and then reaching wide and apart, and then pull together and hold. You're going to interlace your hands and reach your hands up to the sky. You can keep your index fingers long just to help give you that sort of purpose to your hands. Shoulders draw down and back, and now we're going to rotate. You're going to take your hands towards the right and let your knees come to the left. As your arms go right, see if you can steer from your shoulders and your rib cage. Let your arms remain straight and your torso twist. And then you're going to come through center to the other side, twisting your arms to the left, knees to the right, and center. And keep going. This will give you a balance challenge. It's going to sort of mobilize, loosen up, and wring out your waist so we get our low back and our obliques to all stretch and move. Really good for just low back health. And then taking one more each direction. Breathe as you move. And last one to your second side. And then come on back to center. And now we're going to take our hands all the way around into the back of the head. So once you have your hands supporting your head, you're going to draw your shoulders down away from the ears and feel your elbows kind of float forward just a little bit. And think of the same energy you had on the roller with your elbows on the roller. Reach the elbows into the space in front of you to help connect your shoulder blades onto your back. And then soften the bottom of the front ribs and sink into the roller to curl up with the upper body. And then lower back down. And again, exhale, curling up. And inhale to return. Keep going. Moving your spine. It's a science. It's got all these little moments of curiosity. So just really listen into your body. Notice where, when you roll up
to that sort of first initial place of like, you know, where you arrive naturally, what vertebra you're resting on, and then see if as you progress yourself each rep, you can maybe move a little bit further. Can you get onto the next vertebra below? And that's just an ask. It doesn't mean you should be able to, it just means you're trying to check in and make sure you're not sort of falling a little short of your most sort of high potential. And then we're going to curl up and hold the next one. And then we're going to give ourselves a little assist. We're going to sink the bottom ribs and reach the arms forward, take hold of the legs. And here you might be able to use your arms to come a little bit higher and sink that vertebra below a little deeper into the roller. And then from here, we're going to breathe in and exhale long and slow. And breathe in, maybe release your arms and exhale long and slow. Inhale. Exhale. Keep breathing like that. And as you exhale, see if it feels safe enough to float one heel, maybe the foot, maybe the entire leg into tabletop. Maybe your feet stay grounded, that's completely okay. Maybe your hands feel best behind your head, and that's completely okay, and in fact really smart for many of us. So you're just challenging the muscles of your core here and your brain, but you're not trying to challenge your neck muscles. So listen to them and keep breathing. If you're wobbling and falling off, that's part of the fun. Life is an adventure. We gotta challenge ourselves to make it interesting, and then make the legs balanced. So I'm on my second side, and then we're coming back to the center, and then lower all the way down. Whew. Even if your neck isn't sore, that can be a workout. So you might just roll your head gently side to side, and then take your arms up to the sky and overhead, and then let the elbows bend as they circle back to your sides. Okay, we're gonna slide off the roller now, so you can just kind of let it roll out from underneath you, and then reset it underneath your hips. We're gonna go into some hip openers. So you're gonna place the roller underneath your sacrum. You've done a little bridge to get into position. And then you're going to take one leg, let's go left leg first into tabletop, hold on to that knee, and then stretch your right leg out long. So we're going to start by just letting gravity take care of the stretch for us for the most part, pulling on the knee that your hands are clasping, drawing your shoulders back into the mat. So the weight of your leg itself will stretch those hip flexors, but you can add energy by reaching through the toes. You can reach through the heel and see how that feels. Maybe one or the other gives you a little bit more of a potent stretch. And then what I'm really interested in is getting the whole region to stretch. So I'm going to have you take your left knee over to the left, a little bit wide to the side, and let that pull your pelvis a little bit in that direction so you can kind of feel the stretch of the outer hip. So sometimes we don't feel it until we move into this position, but there's some tension out there in that lateral hip, the side of the hip. So you're just letting your body tilt to the side to emphasize that, and then come on back to center. Stay here with this side, take your hands behind the left leg, and stretch the left leg up to the sky. So now you've got your legs reaching in very different directions. Keep drawing your left leg towards you using your arms as you reach the right leg down, and then flex both feet and point both feet, and flex and point and flex and point. Good. One more, and then draw your knees into your chest, and then we'll switch sides. Hold on to the right knee and lengthen the left leg out long, and reach. Pull your shoulders back, engage your arms. Pull that knee in close. Now your left hip stretches. You're allowing gravity to make this a gentle progressive stretch, but as you want to, you can reach the toes, flex the foot, breathe, of course, and then taking your knee over to the right, the bent knee goes to the side, opening wide, and it rocks us a little bit off center. And now we're stretching the outer left hip. Good. So I'm fairly certain you guys have all heard this before, but I like to make sure it's clear in your minds, is that our hips and the muscles around those points in our body, you're going to take hold of the back of the right thigh now. and stretch both legs up to straight. The legs and the hips are such close neighbors to our spine, to our trunk, that they have just an inseparable impact. So we're releasing a lot of the muscles around the hips, not just because it feels good, but because it's actually going to give you access in a better, more meaningful way to your core muscles. So if you are like really interested in core work, just know that hips, getting them kind of happy and released is going to make your core work way more meaningful. And then we're going to point and flex the feet if you weren't already. Okay, so now we're going to take the legs in towards one another. Hold on to the ends of the roller so that there's no chance the roller can escape you. And then reach your legs up to the sky. We're going to try to keep the legs straight, but all of us have different flexibility, so if they bend a little bit, that's okay. You're going to take one leg towards you, one leg away, and you're going to ask this hamstring to stretch as much as it can, and this hip flexor to stretch as much as it can. So you're reaching to your end ranges and using your muscles. We're starting slow so you can really explore how far apart can I pull my legs, and then reach in the opposite direction. Now we're going to make it a little more brisk, but what I'm going to ask you to do is stop in the middle. Open and stop in the middle. This requires, guess what, your core to work. Open and scissor together, and open and pull to the center and together. So go ahead and keep moving like that at your own pace with energy. So it's brisk, but you have this moment of pause. And you'll find using your exhale to come together might be where you get the best core support that really makes it a good controlled movement. One more, and then bring it center. Now we're going to go to the sides. You're going to open out to the sides, inner thighs stretching. And then you're going to take your legs back together, but you're going to bring one in front, and then the other, and then open again, and reverse. So these little sort of dance moves in the sky, giving your inner thighs a little action and stretch. And you're trying to alternate which leg comes in front first, but it might be a little much to keep track of. So don't feel too panicky about it. Just do what feels good. And keep going. And the faster you go, the more kind of loosening quality you might invite into your movement. I'm adding a third beat at the top. That's optional. And then just be aware that we don't want to strain our inner thighs. So as you take the legs wide, make it active rather than forceful. What I mean is you don't want to sort of crank on that joint. So move with power, but also a softness. Okay, we're going to bring the legs back together at the top and hold. Take your feet together, but heels turned in, toes turned out. So you've got that extra rotation in your hips. And now you're going to lengthen the legs away from your center, pulling your abdominals in, sinking the bottom ribs, and let the legs come down just as far as you can, keeping your spine really neutral. And then float the legs back up, and then lower, back down, and up. And feel like you're drawing your abdominals in a way that feels like your pubic bone is being dragged up towards your sternum. Sternum drag towards your pubic bone. You're going to use some glutes and hamstrings here. So if you feel that, you're on the right track. Now, bring your legs to parallel, toes touching, and you're going to do the same action. Lower and lift up, and lower and lift up. One more. And lift up, and then bend the knees, and we'll lower the feet to the mat, one and then the other. Hold there. Before we move the roller, you're going to land your feet. Find all four corners of each foot. Lifting the toes can help, and then I want you to just simply tip the pelvis towards 12 o'clock, and find that core activation that helps you gather the pelvis and the ribs together in the front and create space in the low back, and feel this opening stretch across the front of the hips. It's what you just did with the straight leg on the roller, but now you're doing it in an active way. And then see if you can lighten your touch on the roller. You're still touching, but you've just lightened it. So you're working a bit more in the back of the legs. And then from here, we're going to experiment with a march, lifting one foot and placing it down and marching on the other side. And trying to keep that little bit of a lightness in the back of the body, so you will notice, because the roller is there to tell you when your pelvis is sinking or tilting and rocking off center. Right? So now we're going to take the first side, marching, and I want you to lift the right knee and get the right hip to get even lighter off of the roller. That's the hard part. And then land it down. And then march the left knee. Use the right leg to help you levitate the left hip off of the roller and march it back down. And so right side, right hip, levitating, and then land it down. And left knee, left hip, levitating. One more each side. Right knee, right hip, and land, and then left leg, left hip, and land. Great job. Okay, moving the roller out from under your hips, we'll place it under our feet. Now we'll start with parallel, and then I'm going to have you make adjustments in a few moments. So you're going to place your arms down by your sides, take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, simply curl the tail under and peel up into a bridge. Now, if your hamstrings are screaming or even cramping, you can do this with your feet on the mat. It's completely appropriate. And then maybe walk your feet back onto the roller in a moment, and then rolling back down. This is a really purposeful wake-up call for the back of the legs. So take your next one, curling the tail under and hold. And now I want you to see if you can find all of those connections. As is, lifting up towards your ribs, ribs pulling towards those as is, knees stretching out past your toes, glutes and hamstrings connecting, low back long, and then hold all of that, and we're going to move the roller out just a little bit, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in. 2 more times. You're doing amazing. This is tough. One more time. Bring it in and hold. Pull the roller towards you as you roll back down. Great job. Okay, keep your feet right there. Your roller helps you keep those hamstrings alive even when they're not doing a big bridge. So see if you can feel that. I'm going to move the feet together now, knees together, and then take the hands around to the back of the head. And we're going to curl up, elbows forward, shoulders down. Sink the bottom ribs, curl up as high as you did on the roller to that extra high place and hold there. And then bring the roller out a little ways. Exhale, curl a little deeper as you bring the roller back in. Just a little movement there, and press down into the roller as you bring it towards you. And feel the back of your body lengthen into this long curve. And 2 more. 1 more. And then lower back down. Now I'm going to have you bring the roller, using your legs, into the air. Okay, so what we're going to do to start is find the roller between our hands and our feet. So you might be able to see this, and if you can't, I'll try to explain it. But the tops of your feet, with your feet flexed, can hold one end of the roller while your hands hold the other. And then I want you to try to find neutral, so your pelvis isn't really tucked, but you still can use your abdominals to keep yourself from arching the low back. So you might be a little bit 12 o'clock, okay? And then from here, draw the shoulders down and begin to press the hands into the roller as well as the tops of the feet into the roller. What we're going to do is we're going to experiment with our sort of quadruped action. So you're going to take your right foot and release it, and your left hand and release it, and let them lower towards the mat. Then bring them back up, find the roller, and switch sides. So we're doing, instead of reaching the arm overhead, bring it down by your side. It's a little more true to what we do in our bodies when we walk and run. So one set of limbs, arm and leg, are coming sort of forward, and the other are going back. And pressing into that roller is where a lot of the quality connections come from. So once you get your sort of coordination going, see if you can add that element. Okay. And then make it balanced. And then we're going to bring the roller down. Let it come into the space between our thighs. So the top end comes down, not just the knees, but between the meat of the thighs. And the other end is held between our feet. So you can feel the inner border of your toes, your big toes, your ankles, and your shins all connect inward. And then for this one, let your low back come into the mat, because the weight of all of this can really put a burden on all of this. And then we're going to take our hands to the back of the head and take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, soften those ribs and curl up with the upper body. So the first thing we're going to do is try to find your low abdominals and tip the pelvis this way, so to 12 o'clock, sinking the low waist deeper into the mat and bringing the tail up towards your toes. Smallish movement, big, powerful scoop deep within the body. Yeah. And then we're going to take that and hold it. And we're going to try to keep the pelvis tilted and let the legs travel just a little bit away from center and back up. So it's those double leg lowers again. And it's really about keeping that curvature through the low back, through the abs, and the low glutes and hamstrings. And then taking your knees back in towards your body, head and shoulders down. We'll simply give our abs a break for a second. And then we're going to come back up for one more hoorah in that position. Shoulders down, elbows forward, bottom ribs tilted to the mat, finding your most powerful ab curl yet. Bottom ribs are heavy, and then we're going to swivel the roller. So think of the toe end as like a hose, and you're going to turn the hose and water to the right. You're also going to rotate your shoulders to the right, and then swivel your hose to the left and turn your gaze and shoulders to the left. And that's the movement. Finding those core muscles and some bigger movers, the obliques and muscles of the hips, all working together. And one more each side. Round it up nicely and then come back to center. Woo-wee. Okay, let's do a little sort of releasing plus for the upper body. So you can take your hands behind your knees and roll up to seated. And we'll get the roller in position behind us. And then go ahead and let your upper body find the roller right around shoulder blade high, supporting the head and the hands. And we'll go back over the roller to enjoy some nice stretchy goodness for the upper back. And for all those abdominal muscles. And then just starting to move as you're ready. Inhale back and exhale forward. And we'll do that 2 more times. And then come to the top and hold. Now we're going to turn to one side. I'll go onto my right side. You can turn either direction. So you can put the roller so it's under your rib cage, just behind your armpit. You can keep your hands behind your head. And you'll do this sort of side bend wiggle to massage your lats on that right side. These muscles that connect our pelvis to our arm. It's quite a big stretch and powerful muscle. And it's, you know, just an example of how our wings, our limbs really come and root from our pelvis just as much as anywhere else. So stretching and releasing it can make us a lot more comfortable in our bodies for a lot of different reasons and experiences. And then we're going to take the top elbow and bring it towards the floor, turning downward. And then top elbow floats up and back and we'll twist. Keep your knees where they are and let your heart spill back. And then repeat, twist towards the roller and twist open to the sky. Support your head. And one more time, twist into it. And if you are on a black roller, this can be really intense, so go slow and gentle. And then come back to center. And then let's take the spine back to the middle and go to the other side. You are positioning yourself so you're on your left side rib cage now, or the second side, and we're doing our little wiggle side bends. Good. And then take yourself into the twist. Top elbow comes forward towards the mat and then opens us back into a twist that adds or invites at least a little bit of back extension if that feels safe. Continuing to support your head and open and rolling back towards the mat. One more time. Open. This is my tighter side, and then back to center. Okay, let's come to kneeling on our way to our tummy. So you're basically going to roll to your tummy and then position yourself so that the roller is in front of you across the mat. You're going to let the roller carry your arms. So you're going to start with your legs outstretched, your heart kind of hovering perhaps, your forehead hovering for sure. And you're going to just move the shoulder blades, and then, of course, everything else in the shoulder girdle moves as well. Shrugging the shoulders up to your ears, shrugging them down. Now, your shoulders don't have to go anywhere in particular, but I love how this reminds us of all the ways and places our shoulders can arrive. And so we're going to try to facilitate the shoulders coming away from the ears. And then think of widening them. So you might karate chop a little bit into the roller, pressing down, not to move the roller and the arms as much as move the shoulder blades around the rib cage to the front. So you're pressing down and slurping the shoulders a little bit back away from the ears. And in that moment, it's going to feel really pretty natural to start to rise up and then lower back down. Let the arms roll out away from center so your shoulders bunch up by the ears. And then again, as you sort of feel the arm bones kind of slurp back into the shoulder socket, and again, a little karate chop into the roller, waking up the serratus, your spine knows what to do next, right? And then lower back down. And we're each going to have different looks and feels to this, since we are, coming into it with different tightnesses, and we just were born with very different structural sort of designs. Our skeletons, while they are, the same in a lot of ways, they're also quite different in a lot of ways. So allowing for your natural design to be what inspires your movement. We're doing several of these. If you're needing a break, feel free, but we're just going to come up in the next one and hold. Deepen your engagement through the lower half of your body. Press your hips into the mat, reach through the legs, and then with a lift to the heart, bend the elbows and bring the roller towards you. This should enhance the stretch to your chest and enhance the lift to your upper body. If it causes you to kind of crinkle in your low back, come a little lower. And you can eliminate the elbow bend altogether. Opening up the front of the chest, making your heart the focus, really opening that space. And two more. And one more. And then lengthen and lower down. Now let's walk the feet together so your toes can tuck under. You'll lift your thighs so that you can get nice and snug into parallel, and then point the feet and lower it back down. Bring your arms into palms facing in and a little bit narrower, only as much as it feels comfortable in your shoulders. And then we're going to reach the heart forward with the karate chop energy in the arms. And then from here, we're going to try finding a little bit of movement. Left leg is going to lift, right arm will lift. And then lower everything. Float the right thigh and the left arm. And repeat, lower and alternate. Practice getting steadier in your center before you add the movement. Pulling your limbs kind of into the joints while you reach out through the extremities, so your fingertips and toes. And then make it balanced, and then lower back down. Take your hands to the mat, give yourself a little push up and back, and make your way into a child's pose. You can have the roller there with you, supporting your arms, or you can leave it where it was. Let your head fall into place and breathe.
Okay, let's take a roll up to seated and take your roller. Let's see, I'm going to try to make this the most visible. So we're going to take the roller, maybe right where it was, across the mat, and we're going to turn and lie on our side so that the roller supports our top leg, the bottom leg is bent, and then you can lower down to your entire right side. Okay, so once you're in position, all we're doing is we're using the roller to support the leg that's about to be our moving leg, right? And we're going to start by just bringing our attention to our pelvis. Our as-is in the front should be stacked. If we're twisted, that top one comes forward or back, so you're going to bring it so that they're right over each other. And then what we're going to play with is hiking this left hip and then lengthening it out. So the roller is going to come towards you and away from you. And it's not a big movement, but it's just about noticing the potential of sort of this leg, and this position can be either attached to the body through a sort of gathering in or reaching out. So what you're going to do is reach out, move that roller as far away from you as you can, feel the distance increase from rib cage to pelvis, and then keep that and lift and lower the leg. Keep reaching. Good. And then we're going to take the leg and hover it just above the roller and come forward and then pull back. Keep reaching. Now the roller is just a sort of mental reminder to keep you long through that top waist, whichever side it is. Flex the foot at the front, point the foot on the way back, flex and pull back. Good, and flex and pull back. And then lengthen and lower it down. Okay, now let's take the roller in front of us. It's going to start lengthwise right in front of our body, and then you're going to plunk the top foot and knee onto the roller. So it's out of the way, it's stable but a little bit mobile as well. And then draw that left sit bone down towards the opposite ankle and start to lift and lower your bottom leg, finding those adductors, your inner thighs, and putting them to work. Good. Reaching through the toes, feeling as though you're lifting your thigh bone more than you're really focused on the foot. Your foot can be relaxed while you draw your upper leg towards the sky. And then stay there and hold at the top. Add a little internal rotation, knee turning up to the sky, and pulse in a light little sort of mini movement with lots of zest. Keep reaching through the left sit bone. And we'll go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower down and rest. Awesome job. All right, let's just do a quick little turn through all fours. So you're going to come up to your hands and knees and position yourself so that your knees are on the roller. Okay, wardrobe adjustments. We're going to start with the hands a little closer into the roller and knees than the all fours position. And then you're going to round your spine, find that stretch, and then extend just to give yourself all those fluid feels. And then rounding your spine, hold. Push down through the heels of the hands, lift your rib cage up, and we're going to roll the knees forward and back, and roll the knees forward and back, using your abdominals to bring the knees forward. And then for added challenge, see if you can imagine hovering your shins off of the roller. They are not going to lift off most likely, but you can lighten that effort, lighten that weight rather, and increase that core work. And then come back. Knees on the roller, hands a little bit more true to underneath the shoulders. You can start with your toes down and then make any effort to balance by taking them off. So what we're going to do is a little quadruped. You're going to reach your left leg back and then reach your right arm forward. And then bring both back in.
Reach your right leg back. Bring your left arm forward. Land it all back down. Now, if you'd like, you can continue with toes down, or if you'd like to explore and wobble with me, you can take toes off. And then same thing on the other side. Reach and land. All right, let's pause that and move on to our second sideline. So you'll have your, if you did your left side with me before, you'll do right side up. Otherwise, make it balanced. Top leg is supported by the roller. Bottom leg is bent and out of the way. You can hike and reach, drawing the roller towards you and away. Find the length and stretch to the entire waist, and then reach and hold there, and then begin to lift and lower, and lift and lower, and find the rest of your body still connected, really stable, but not bracing, just thoughtfully connected. Good. And then bring the leg to level with the hip and hovering over the roller, and we'll kick forward, flexed foot, point the foot, draw it back. And we flex, and we point, and repeat. Good. Stretch that hamstring, and then stretch that hip flexor, and reach 2 more times. And 1 more time. And then reach back. Good. And then use your legs to help you bring the roller up to meet you at the side of your mat. And then just lower your top leg onto the roller, getting your shin and knee and foot all supported. And then we lift and lower that bottom leg, reaching through the whole limb, but really feeling that engagement from the top of the thigh. Stretching out all the joints, making there be sort of no like little scrunchy energy anywhere. It's really stretched out. And your top hip stays really long towards the foot end of your mat. And then we'll hold at the top, turn your knee up to the sky, and pulse upward. Good. And this is just about finding a little bit of a different connection into your inner thighs. Maybe you'll feel it right away, maybe not. That VMO just inside and above the knee. What a treat. And 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Awesome job. All right, let's take the roller again. Across the mat, we'll go this way. So you're gonna start with a seated position with your feet on the roller. So what I'm gonna have you do is start maybe mid-calf. We'll just sort of see how this all works out. And then you're gonna take your, actually no, let's do it with your feet on the roller, knees bent. So you can have this roller any distance from your body that feels the most appropriate, but I'll invite you first to hold onto your legs and give yourself a little bit of a lift. So feeling again that connection of your back of the legs by pressing your heels into the roller and feeling like you're pulling it towards you. And then we're gonna work our way down. So you're gonna reach your arms long, you're gonna curl the tail under and roll down vertebra by vertebra all the way to the mat. Now some of us are gonna be helped by having the knees bent, whereas others that makes it harder. So you'll get there will be both challenges involved here. You'll have straight legs in a moment. Reach your arms back now, and as best you can, reach your arms forward, peeling up. Keep those heels on the roller if you can, and keep pressing into them. And then we'll be rolling back down a couple of times. This version we're doing with the roller staying still is actually quite difficult. So work your way through your sticky spots. Hold onto your legs where you need to. And then we'll add an element of movement to the roller that I think you'll really like. So from the moment you land down next, stay there and take the roller a little closer in so that it's back where it was for bridging. Yeah. And then we're going to take our arms back towards the ears, back towards the mat behind us. and begin to roll up as the legs start to roll out to straight. And Sam, you can keep your knees bent the whole time just so you're not asking that back chain to stretch too much. And then you're going to reverse with long legs, but immediately start to bend the knees on the way down. And that's going to give your spine and your hips a little bit more of a fluid harmony, most likely. Let's round towards our toes at the top and then start to roll back, bend the knees, and roll all the way down. And again. If you haven't already thought of it, you might use your lumbar roll in your low back if that's something that you've found useful in previous roll-up settings. And so we're going to come up one more time, hold at the top, and then roll back about halfway. So you're going to come down a little ways and hold, and then you're going to exhale, pull the knees in, and roll the legs out. And repeat. So it's just a little extra challenge, drawing the knees in, lengthening the legs out. Pull it in with an exhale, inhale, reach out, and exhale. Good, 2 more. 1 more. And then roll all the way down. Now, I'm just drifting a little bit without a mat, so I'm going to just reset. What I'd like you to do next is find your feet on the roller and then find your neutral spine. So you've got knees bent. And you're going to take an inventory of your body from your shoulders to your ribs to your pelvis, feeling connected through the back of the shoulders, weighted down around the low back ribs, little space in the low back, and then a happy neutral pelvis. And then we're simply just going to lengthen the legs out to straight and bend them back in. Neutral pelvis, weighted ribs, open shoulders. Just a little sort of footwork like action on the roller. And then we're going to add some rotation to the hips. So you're going to let the knees come open and then lengthen the legs out to straight. Turn the knees in, back to the start. Open, roll out, knees in, bend the knees towards your body. Open and roll out. And then just do a couple more in that direction. So it's kind of like you're doing a knee stir in your hips, right? And then reverse your direction. So you'll go out with the feet in parallel and then bring the legs back in with the legs turned out. And again, lengthen in parallel, external rotation out the way back in. And the rollers might need to be reset a number of times while you do this. But it's just a really nice little bit of hip therapy. Okay, then we're going to bring the roller once again into our hands and feet. So we've done a version of this already with the hands and the tops of the feet holding the roller with the knees bent. So we're going to do that now. But what we're going to do, instead of doing opposite arm and leg, we're going to do same arm and leg. And so I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to keep the roller between my hands and feet, press into both. Shrug the shoulders down, press the tops of the feet and palms in towards my midline and towards my center. And then I'm going to just keep my right arm and right foot where they are and take the left arm and left leg out to the side and then bring it back in. And we'll stay with that side. Open and connect back to center. Open and connect back to center. Just challenging your balance, keeping the right half of your body stable on the mat. And then bring it back to the center. And then take your right hand and right foot to the roller. Left arm and left foot are released and we open to the right and bring it back in. And really, again, just find that center of your body, really balancing the left side with some extra weight into the mat as your right leg and arm travel out to the right. Good. And then we're going to bring the roller between the legs once again and bring your hands to the thighs, the back of the thighs. We're going to take a little nod the chin and roll up into your balance point. From here, we're going to find a connection to the back of the legs by pressing the thighs into our hands, the shoulders, pulling the shoulders back, the abdominals, drawing the abdominals back from the roller. And you can do this in slow motion, or you can add rolling like a ball, rocking back to just your shoulder blades and then up to balance point. So anyone that doesn't roll for osteoporosis reasons or any other reason, just doing the slow motion version or staying on your back is totally valid. And if none of that feels right for you, you can go into bridging. Okay, we're going to do one more. Come up and balance and hold. Find your balance point, and then transfer the roller to your hands and feet. So you've got your hands and feet holding the roller, and from here you're going to just lengthen up into teaser and bend and lengthen up. Draw your abdominals in, stretch your toes out long, and one more time. Hold there. If you'd like, you can bend the knees and repeat, or you can stay straight, and we're rocking back and coming back up. Rolling or slow motion. Just one more. Awesome job. Bend and lower everything down. Woo! So let's come to seated now and get into our Z-sit position. We'll take the roller to the outside of the shin that's folded back. Placing a hand on the roller, take your free arm up to the sky and just roll into your side bend. And we'll do that a number of times, softening the left shoulder or that bottom shoulder down. And again. So you're in your mermaid position and you're rolling towards the side where your knee is internally rotated, your shin is back. Good. And then we'll take the roller to the other side and find a different experience and stretch. For this one, I'm going to turn my palm forward, so I'm doing that karate chop arm again, and then rise back up. Keeping that outer knee down will help me stretch that whole top side a little bit more. And then I'm going to turn towards the roller, bring both hands to the roller, palms facing in. I'm going to round, come back out. Now I'm going to lift my heart forward and come up in a twisted sort of swan, right? Similar to on the reformer. Roll out, round to come in, and again rolling out, and then lift your heart to come up. One more time. Each direction, round and out, and then heart forward and up, and then just take your front arm forward and around to the center. Let's come to the roller out in front of us and just do one more version. So when your knee is folded like this, it's kind of like you're cross-legged, or also near that pigeon stretch thing. So we're going to take the pigeon stretch type position. So you're going to take your roller kind of from right out square in front of you and move it a little bit to the side where that knee is out in front, and then just round your spine out forward and back, and then chest forward. Yeah, so there's two versions. We're just mixing it up, rounding and extending, swan and cat. And maybe one more, swan and cat. And now let's bring ourselves through the center to the other side. So you're just going to swing your legs into the opposite position. We'll start with the roller over now to the opposite side as well. So you've got the, I'm just going to leave the rights and lefts out of it. So your shin is back and you've got your roller alongside that shin, and then just roll with it. Roll with it. And yeah, you might not move very much when you're kind of running into your hip joints here, your adductors, and other such stuff. If you're having any discomfort in the knee, then you can just do cross-legged instead. And good. And then take that one more time. Beautiful. And then we'll bring the roller around to the other side. And again, kind of karate chopping the roller palm forward can feel really friendly in the shoulder. Engaging into that arm, so you're pressing downward, but from the root of the arm will help keep you more comfortable and safer as you go out and in. So you're using your lat muscles that we massaged earlier, and you're stretching them. So an active stretch is a really powerful thing. Attempt to keep the shoulder down and the arm long. Good. One more time out like that. Never do too many mermaids. And then we'll bring the, we're gonna go out first, find the long stretch, and then turn and bring both arms to the roller. And we're gonna round first, round back out, and then reach your chest forward and up, and then forward as you lengthen back down. Round and extend. And round and extend, and then take yourself back in by rounding all the way up. Okay, and then we'll take the roller again to the front, but a little offset towards the front knee, so it's a little bit at a diagonal, and just begin again rounding forward and rounding back. Extend, heart forward, and heart forward even as you come back. Round like your kitty cat, diving into the well, and then round, coming back, and then chest forward, letting that light from your heart beam forward over the roller and beam forward on your way back up. One more time each direction, rounding out, rounding back in, and then heart forward, and keep it forward all the way in and up. And then we'll just bring the roller out in front. And let's come back up to kneeling and take the roller behind our shoulders, or behind our backs once again. So you can be up on your knees, seated on your heels, whatever feels the best. But we're just gonna do this stretch again, because as you've been moving, lots of stuff has shifted and stretched and released, and it's all likely to feel a little bit better and also just a little bit more open across the front of the chest. Mine definitely do, so hopefully you do as well. And then I'd like to just offer you one more little spicy adventure, since we have the roller and it's just such a fun thing to play with. And we haven't done any planks yet. So what I'm going to have you do is land your knees down on the mat with your shins and ankles supported by the roller. And then we're going to come down onto our forearms on the mat, and you can clasp your hands. Shoulders drop down, chest opens towards the knuckles on your hands, and then you're going to take your abdominals lifting up, and you're just going to lengthen your legs out into a plank position. Now you can bring your knees to the mat every time or hover them, but what we're going to do is exhale, pull in. Inhale out, exhale, pull in and out. You're going to let your abdominals lift, and your spine can move as much as it needs to make that safe. So you might be rounding, you might not, but I want your low back to stay lifted. And then one more, land your knees down. Awesome job. And then from here, keeping your shins on the roller, we'll come up to high kneeling, draw your abdominals in, tip your pelvis as if you were in a bridge. You're really trying to draw the sit bones down, your abdominals in and up, and then you're going to reach your arms out in front. We're going to tip the pelvis continuously as if you could lay your sacrum back on your heels and just come back as far as your quads and knees feel comfortable, and then come back up. And again, now you might want to pad your knees or put something between your inner thighs to keep your knees happy. Do that as you need to. And then on your next one, you're going to come back and hold, and you're going to take your arm on the right open and twist to the right and come center. And left arm twists back and center. Right arm lifts up and center. Left arm up and center, and then reach the sky as you come back up. And then reach forward as you tip back. Reach up as you come up. And again. And
Let's take the arms up as you come forward. Start to circle them out to the sides as you come back and up. It's a circle that opens your chest. And up, one more time. And up, and then just stay there. Circle the arms down by your sides. You can take yourself to seated, cross-legged, kneeling, whatever you like. And we're going to take our arms out to the sides nice and wide. And then cross your right arm on top of your left. Spin your forearms and palms towards one another. And just lift your elbows as your shoulders draw down and back. As your elbows lift, let your heart lift. And then exhale. Gather your elbows inward and round your spine. Taking a little moment in this inward position to feel at home in your body. And then reaching forward and up. Release the arms wide. And we'll cross the arms in the opposite position. Left arm on top. Spinning the palms in. Dropping the shoulders down. Reaching the elbows forward. Lift the elbows. Lift your gaze. Lift your heart. Opening to the great possibilities. And then drawing inward. Draw your elbows into your center and round inward. And again, just stay for a moment in that peaceful place at your center. And then reach up. Reach the arms wide. And let's bring them all the way overhead. Palms together. And bring your hands down to meet at your heart. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to hear your feedback, so use the comments below to tell me about how this workout felt in your body. Also, subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified when new videos are made available. And follow me on Instagram at arwenbrook_Pilates to receive updates on my live classes, when new videos are released, and other special events. I hope you'll join me. Thank you and have a wonderful day.